then they would put that gift, say it's $10, for instance, they would put that $10 gift in my Amazon American account.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool because in Canada, unbeknownst to maybe a lot of people, we're not actually able to buy everything that's in America. Like, we're not, like, on the Canadian Amazon, we don't have the luxury of having everything that you guys are able to buy. So with the Amazon American account, I can actually buy that and ship it to me, right? I mean,
Right.
of course, I have to look after the shipping and this and that and the other thing, whatever's involved with that. But it's somewhat minimal when it comes to Amazon, right? It's not that crazy.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Learning everything, because I don't know how that works.
Okay, so
Jennifer says she has a North Dakota address. So
who does? Who?
Jennifer Ocean Homestead says she has a North Dakota address.
Oh, well, then it goes to North Dakota. So it doesn't matter to her then, because she can have whatever it is shipped to North Dakota. And so for her to have an Amazon gift gifted to her in American money, I guess, to her Amazon American account, because like I have an Amazon account in US, and those are US dollars, which means that I can buy US products with that account, right?
Okay.
And then if I choose to ship it to North Dakota, or I want it to come to Canada, or wherever I want it to go, that's totally, yeah. It's totally irrelevant.
Cool.
But I'm gonna actually, there's something that really interesting that happened to me yesterday. So I had won a gift prize, I don't know, about a month ago. And they sent me through snail mail, through mail from America to Canada. I got a gift card, and it was for Walmart. And just last week, I took the gift card from Walmart and I went to Walmart with it. I mean, I was going there anyway. I thought, okay, I'm going to take the gift card with me. So something interesting, gift cards in America that are bought in America don't work in Canada. Right? So
okay.
They don't work in Canada. And when I went to the store said, no, this is for America only. And it says right here on the back of the card in small print. And I mean, who gets out their magnifying glass and looks at that? Nobody. So nothing against, the channel and the person that gave me the card, but they don't work in Canada. They're only meant for United States. If you buy a Walmart gift card in the United States, it's only good for United States. So what this individual ended up doing, I'm going to be mailing back that gift card to her, to use for, other gift draws and things like that she does as soon as Canada Post gets up and running again. So what she ended up doing was she ended up giving me, gifting me, I should say, the equivalent of the gift card through PayPal.
Oh.
And it was super easy because I'm in Canada. It doesn't matter if you're in Canada, the UK, where the US, where the heck you are, PayPal is pretty much everywhere. And so she gifted me through my email, the equivalent of the gift that she had emailed me or sent me. And so this morning I opened up my computer or whatever and whatever, signed in, and it said that I had received a gift from this person. So I signed into my email, and sure enough, there it was. So So what they do is they put it in your, you can have it directly, whatever you receive in your PayPal goes directly into your bank account, or you can have it set up so that whatever people send you just is held in what they call a wallet. So PayPal has a wallet. And so whenever I'm out and about and I'm doing my shopping and this sort of thing, then so let's say I'm on Amazon and I want to buy whatever, then I can just use whatever's in my PayPal wallet to purchase that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody had asked, can you use the Walmart card online? And Jennifer answered that question and said only in the country with the same currency.
Right.
And then she said this is why she has a U.S. bank account and a Canadian bank account, because it makes her, makes life easier. So
yeah, I know. But Jennifer is in New Brunswick. She lives in New Brunswick, and if she was to take a Walmart gift card to Walmart in New Brunswick, she's not going to be able to use it. It's similar to me. We're not going to be able to use it in the store here, the Walmart store in New Brunswick, because her and I both live in the same province. Yeah. So I don't know what she's talking about. Having a Walmart US gift card and how that relates to a US account. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know.
I did win a giveaway last night on Resourceful Living Homestead. They were having their 3K giveaway, I guess is what they were having. And I did win something. And then Musgrave Family Farm is in. Hello, Musgrave Family Farm. I don't use US gift cards. I use Zelle, is what she said.
Mm-hmm. So, hey, okay. Michelle.
I guess it's different.
I see that. Yeah, I just typed. Okay.
Nah. Yeah.
I have no idea how.
I tried to stay.
I have no idea how it's different. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to stay on the live last night, and it was so hard because I was live at the same time because they had a long giveaway live, and I missed out on some stuff, but it's okay. Congratulations to all the winners. So, yep. I'm still learning we're back to the seeds, the survival seeds. I'm still learning. Like I want to grow indoors first, because how I did it last time was I just threw the seeds out there and planted inside my raised beds, because I have to do raised beds where I'm at. I want to grow inside first and then transplant them to, the raised beds.
Right.
So that's probably something different I'm going to do this time around. And then I'm going to grow in buckets as well. Because my husband started growing in buckets, and I see a lot of people doing buckets, and I'm just like, okay, let's go for it. See what I can do different. Because I grew way too much squash. Way too much squash. It took over, and I was just like, okay, I'm not doing that again next year. I'm just not gonna do it. So, yeah.
So there's 6 seeds. So let me. Okay, Amy, correct me if I'm wrong. So there's bell peppers. There's Roma tomatoes. There's pie pumpkin. Okay, that's 3. Oh my goodness.
Hold on.
Help me out here, darling. Help me out.
Okay, so we have the red kidney beans.
Oh yes, red kidney
beans.
Yeah.
They sent me the Roma tomatoes.
Yep.
And then they sent me the early coriander. It's the sweet bell pepper.
Okay, bell pepper.
Yeah, bell pepper. The pearl onion.
Yeah.
Yep. You were right on the pumpkin.
Pumpkin. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then they sent Detroit beets.
Beets. Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Beets. So I haven't grown Detroit beets, but I did grow beets. And I got them in the ground. Oh my goodness, it was super late this year.
Uh-huh.
I don't think they went into the ground until probably, I don't know, August sometime. And it was in a super small area, like literally 2 rows of I don't know, 4 feet across, and they were, I didn't thin them out, nothing. Yeah. So anyway, they grew super well, and I was able to actually get a nice harvest. And but Detroit beets, I'm not. Have you grown them, Amy?
I grew beets last year with the survival seeds, but I wasn't successful in that. I got little tiny ones, but
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing on some of them. Yes, they gave the information, but I don't think my soil was the right soil to
No.
grow.
What time did you plant them? When?
I planted it all. I don't know. I think I planted. I don't know if it was too late or too early, but I planted all the seeds, and I was like, okay, if they grow, they grow. If they don't, they don't. I tried.
Okay, was it June? Was it May? When
Let's
did you
see.
plant them?
Let's see. When was the last time we did the survival seeds? When did they start that? Um, it wasn't automatically when I first got the seeds. It was maybe a month later. It was starting to, I don't know if it was starting to heat up. I can't remember, but I didn't plant automatically when I got my seeds. I waited and then I started planting. So,
Well,
yeah.
when I get my seeds, whenever I get my seeds, I think I'm gonna do an experiment. I'm gonna do an experiment. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plant half the package.
Okay.
When like the frost is gone, and in my area that's like literally the end of May, the middle of June, right? I
Okay.
only have about 150 days of growing time. So I'll plant half the package then, because I actually think that's like things like beets and spinach and different cold crops prefer to be grown as a fall crop. You'll get a bigger harvest and a bigger crop if you do it in the fall, whatever your fall planting time is. So
Okay.
for me, my beets, I think, did well last year because I planted them literally probably the middle of July or the end of July.
Okay.
And I think I got such a nice harvest because they're a cool crop. They're a
Okay.
cold crop. They like to be cold. And
Okay.
so if you're planting them at the beginning of summer, in the heat, and you're not providing any sort of protection for them, then you're not going to probably get a great crop.
Okay.
So I don't know, but that's what I'm going to do. When I get my seeds,
Okay.
I'm going to plant some of them in the beginning, but I'm a different zone than you, Amy. So,
yes.
right. We all have different zones that we have to deal with. And, what somebody experiences down south is not what somebody experiences up north.
So I see a question here. I'm pretty new here. Do Junodes ever join your lives other than commenting? Yes. Flint has been on my panel before. he popped in really quick and said his hellos, and then he dropped off. But yeah, he's only been in here one time to join the live.
I've seen him.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because Judy's from the Junodes. She came over from the Junodes. So
whenever I join
Alaska.
on panels, I suck at going into the comments. I can't multitask really well, Amy. So I thank you very much for mentioning everybody's comments, because I can't see them when I'm in a live. I can't cross back and forth. That can't see them, so I don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, everybody says they like strawberries and tomatoes. I grew a lot of tomatoes last year on for the collaboration, because I love tomatoes. I can snack on tomatoes just like anything. Slice it up, salt that baby up, and I'm eating them. My grandson's the same way. He loves tomatoes. So I grew a lot of tomatoes. So I was excited they brought the tomatoes back for this round.
Yeah, the Roma tomatoes are.
Hi, Jeff.
I tried myself to grow some this year, actually, Roma tomatoes, and I was actually pretty successful, I think, at growing the Roma tomatoes. But because of my temperatures and an early, a super early frost, I wasn't able to get my Roma tomatoes to mature and to so I got some of them to mature, but nowhere near what I want it to in order to make sauces and salsas, and because I love Roma tomatoes for that. They're the best for making sauces and salsas and that kind of thing.
Yeah. I grew a lot of jalapenos and
yum.
There was another pepper that I had, but I grew those and the tomatoes, but I never made salsa. I don't know. There was a time in my life that I was just like, I didn't take care of my garden. And so, a lot of it just, it wilted away. And so I'm going to do again my hardest. I'm going to try my hardest to do better this time around. I got excited because that was my first time growing anything from seed. So it was exciting, and to see things grow. And I was like, oh, I can do this, So.
Isn't that beautiful? It's just a seed, like this tiny little seed. Like, for example, the tiny little oak seed or the tiny little mustard seed. And you plant that in great soil and you get returns. Base Camp Unbounded says, I plan on doing raised bed salsa garden in the spring as my first attempt at growing on my property. That's wonderful.
That's cool.
Raised beds work well, don't they, Amy?
Yes, that's the only way I can grow here. I have to have either the buckets or raised beds, because if you see on our videos, we have a bunch of rock out here. So I can't put stuff in the ground and it grow, because you can find little spots on the property that don't have it, but that only goes so far, and then you're hitting another rock. So we all have to, here on the property, we have to do raised beds. So.
And there's a way to water the raised beds. A lot of people who work in farmsteading or homesteading or permaculture or in a vast variety of all these different areas, they said if you water from the top with a hose or the rain, sometimes the leaves will turn brown, or some of them would rot a little. So what they came up with is making sure the irrigation underneath the raised bed has a good drainage system, where they stick a pipe. Say you get this big raised bed, or you built a homemade one. you can drill a hole right somewhere, middle area, put a PCV pipe in it, and when the rain comes into the box, or the raised garden bed, that water will not, your crop will not soak out. So the drainage, when it's in there, this pipe will be exactly what it needs, and then whatever extra water that is in there, it'll just pour right on out through the pipe. So
Oh,
you drill it right in the raised flower bed or the raised garden bed. Make sure that this PCV pipe, and Chris will know what PCV pipe is, and they just drill it right in there, and then make sure there's also a heavy plastic layer with rocks. So there has to be some good smooth rocks, heavy rocks, and then on top of the thick layer of heavy plastic, and then also the irrigation pipe that's in there halfway sticking out of the raised garden bed. And that way when the water comes in, it'll all be filtered out, and those rocks and that PVC and the pipe will make it happen.
that's cool. I didn't think about that. Because some
Mhm.
plants you can't water from the top. You can't water the leaves
Right.
because they wilt away. So
Yes, exactly, Amy. Exactly.
That
That's what
sounds friggin' complicated for me.
it's simple.
It's not, no, it's not simple. It's complicated.
yeah.
And, that's not my kind of style, I guess, for growing. I have raised garden beds outside. I have them raised off the ground in no dig garden beds. And I also have them raised in built raised garden beds. And nowhere in that equation is there built-in, poly pipes and this and that and the other thing. Honestly, that's too complicated for my brain, and it's too complicated for my gardening style. I would never do that. Even if a company approached me to do, irrigation, blah, 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 unless it paired well with my system and what I'm doing now, then I wouldn't even consider doing it. It's,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, I mean,
One may work, it may not work for somebody else because
right,
we're all in
exactly.
we're all in
Yeah.
different zones and stuff, so it may not work, but that sounds pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna see
Well,
if I can find that video for you, Amy.
totally
Um,
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
see if I can find the video of the people who do it. They're absolutely awesome,
Hmm.
and I saw it. I saw them build it, and I saw them do it, and they have grown from. They started with four raised garden beds,
Cool.
homemade built, and now there must be at least 27.
Nice. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm super like all about doing raised beds and putting in systems where you have like a wicking field, so to speak. So let's say we have an 8 by 3 raised garden bed, and you have a wicking system built into that particular section of raised garden bed. That just means that, and that can be as simple as having a 2 liter Pepsi bottle, right? That's this big, and you drill some holes in the bottom of it, and then you take some fabric, like let's just say I don't know, a used T-shirt that you're no
Yeah.
longer wearing anymore, and you cut it up into strips, and you poke it through those holes, and you knot it so that it doesn't fall through. So that Pepsi bottle is sitting down in the ground, and you pour at the top of it, you pour water into it. Let's say at a tomato, you have those things between 2 tomato plants, right? And you pour water into it, and the water wicks out into those areas that you want them to go into. So that's just sort of a time-saving, energy-efficient way of watering, I guess. Like, you're not watering from above. You just come along and you fill up that 2-liter Pepsi bottle, so to speak, which is buried in the ground, and it wicks out into your tomato plants, let's say.
And
Yeah.
Judy says, all from the Waltons, all the animals around here enjoyed my garden. Wish I could have. And Jennifer Ocean Home said, same here. It's hard, clay and rock. She can't even use a shovel. So she's has to make wicking raised beds this year. And
Yeah,
Troy says, wicking system is what he uses on his indoor garden.
there
And
you
I've
go.
seen.
I think our cabin in the woods does something,
Mm-hmm,
where it's a wicking system. That's pretty
yeah.
interesting too. And that's what I love about watching other people, because
Mm-hmm.
being as last year, that was my first time planting anything. Learning and watching everybody in the collaboration and how they plant their stuff. I could possibly do something, that they're doing that I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know was out there that I could possibly do. So yeah. Um, Somebody says, hello, what kind of raised beds this year? Um,
I love learning that stuff. I
yeah.
love learning. I absolutely love learning from other growers. And Amy, even though maybe you might be new to it or whatever, um, it doesn't matter to me. Like, we're in this collaboration together, and absolutely 100%, I'm going to be watching your videos.
I'll be
Uh,
watching yours too.
oh,
I will
yeah,
be
I'm going to be
watching yours.
watching your videos from start to finish. And there is nothing that, like, everybody that is in this particular collaboration, but I mean, this is right across the board. I mean, from me, when I listen and I engage in somebody's video and I watch it, I'm watching it and listening to it from the vantage point that I'm learning something from them that I didn't know, or I don't understand, or it's something new, or I'm adding to my repertoire. Yeah. So and I'm looking forward to that. And I mean, of course, we all have to gauge that we're in different climates and different microclimates and different countries and blah blah blah. But like, when we're talking about wicking bottles, for instance, you know, not everybody knows about that stuff, and not
Yeah, no.
everybody realizes that that's a really important thing. Like, when it comes to, like, especially when you're in a drought situation and hotter climates or hotter times, I'm gonna say, because hotter climates, I mean, now we're talking about California and Arizona, and that's not what I mean when I say that. I mean that there are times throughout our growing season that there are times of want when it comes to moisture.
Right.
And right, and when you're spraying and you're watering, or whether it's, in ground watering or this or that, there's nothing that actually beats an in ground, um, just with a makeshift, 2-liter bottle of Pepsi or Coke or whatever, that with drilled holes in it, with a wicking that comes out of it. There's nothing that beats that, because it's down at the root level, right?
Right. Right.
It's feeding the roots. It's not feeding the upper soil. It's not feeding the leaves. None of that. It's feeding the roots.
Right.
And whatever you put into that 2-liter water, whether that be a fish emulsion, whatever the fertilizer you're putting in there, that's directly for that plant, the roots are actually going to absorb it. So it's super important, actually.
And
Yeah.
strawberries are a good plant to do that with. Strawberries you can grow relatively easily and the minimal space. You can be in an apartment and grow strawberries indoors virtually. No chemicals are needed.
Right.
And, from a few plants, you can harvest an enormous amount in one season. So make sure that they're hanging or if you choose a gallon container, it could be, recycle them. Like, when we go to the grocery store or we get the water gallons or whatever gallon you're drinking out of your beverages in, just take them and recycle them, and they can have direct sunlight most of the day if it's indoors. And make sure that the frost doesn't cover them if it's in a colder climate. And then if they're not eaten fresh, what you can do is you can always freeze the strawberries or any kind of berries. But strawberries are plentiful and they're easy to do that indoors with. And besides, they do make excellent dessert. If y'all saw my post, I love strawberries with
Yep.
cream on them.
That's
And
I love
also
strawberries too.
for winter time, they're so good in vitamin C. Just wash them really well. You know those you see the black the like seeds in them, those are like mites seeds. They're seeds, but just rinse them really well when you, especially if if you don't get them from a local farmer or you don't have them grown yourself, you can rinse them really well. But they're a delicious treat, especially when they're super sweet. And we have a strawberry festival where we have a lot of country music bands and all that come out, and it's usually in the month of springtime. It's usually in springtime, and it's called, I believe, it's the Strawberry Festival in Plant City. They
Huh.
have a huge amount, and I mean hundreds and thousands of them. So they're a good source, especially throughout the year, but especially in the colder season, winter, for vitamin C. And you can never have enough vitamin C because your body dumps it out daily. So you can replenish as much as you need to with that. And they're really good to do that with.
Oh, you just make me the things that I want to do around here. Yeah, I don't have any strawberries in my ground. And
Mm-hmm.
so I don't have, so my last homestead that I owned, I had 40, I'm going to say I'm just going to approximate 40 fruit trees, shrubs, plants, blah, 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 blah. And I cared for them, and I moved away from that. And I moved so I sold my property and I moved into an apartment for 6 months. And then I realized, how expensive that was to live in this apartment. And I was looking and looking and looking through real estate to buy another property, because obviously we don't want to be renting and blah, 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 and using our equity from, the sale of our property to, rent. Right. And I was looking and looking and looking, but back at that time, it was, okay, I'll just say the date. It was,
While you're thinking of that, there's a question
it was
for you in
back
chat.
in 2021.
Okay,
2020 and 2021. Yeah.
There's a question for you in chat, Krista. Do you want to answer it?
Okay.
It says, Krista, do you have a video on your wicking system? Duncan Family. Okay, Duncan Family Farm was asking.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Okay, so you all don't need, this is something simple where you don't even you just need a 2-liter soda bottle, or if you want to go bigger, just get a 10-liter plastic bottle to grow strawberries.
I am the worst.
Simple.
So have you guys ever heard of hoarders, right?
Yeah.
I've seen that show.
Yeah, right. Well, I am the worst kind of hoarder because I hoard the weirdest kind of things.
Well,
Um,
thank you for letting us know. We appreciate that.
yeah, I
Tell us
hoard
what they are.
yeah, I hoard the weirdest kind of things. I was thinking about that today, as a matter of fact. It was the weirdest thing. So I opened up a can, I guess a can of coffee. I opened up
Hmm.
a can of coffee, and you know the tin that you pull off of it,
Yes.
right? And I'm
Hi,
like,
Moses.
I'm looking at this piece of tin, and I'm thinking, I'm not going to recycle this. No, I'm going to need this somewhere,
Babies,
right?
babies,
That's
babies.
my thinking. And I pull off this tin, and I'm like, no, I'm not throwing this out. I'm not recycling this. I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to put it in a bag because I can use that tin somewhere, wherever down the line.
Definitely. Yeah, sure.
So those are the kinds of things that I hoard.
Well, this is perfect for you. This is
I'm a
perfect
super
then.
weird hoarder. I don't know
That's
what to
not
say.
weird. No. This is
But anyway,
perfect because
when it comes to the wicking system, I haven't implemented it yet, so therefore I do not have a video on it. But I have been hoarding 2 liter. I don't know what you guys call them in the United States, but they're 2 liter jugs of juice or it doesn't matter if it's pop or juice containers or milk containers or whatever. Like use what you got and use what's available and clean them out, like, wash them out, whatever, rinse them out.
there you
And
go.
in raised garden beds, I mean, what you want to do is you want to take those jugs and you want to bury them down into the ground where and at the bottom of those jugs you have holes that have been pre-drilled in them, and you have little pieces of, I'm just going to call them fabric. So just take a t-shirt and rip it up. It doesn't have to be anything major or anything. Let's just simplify it here, folks. Take a t-shirt that is, and I've got tons of them here in my bedroom, that are worn out. You've worn them enough, and you just take this t-shirt and you cut it into strips and you knot it at one end. You pull it through that hole and you sink it down into the dirt. So all these holes have these knotted pieces of fabric that are pulled through those holes going down into the dirt. And when you fill up that container, it's less watering for you and it's going right down into the root system, right?
Right.
So you don't need to top water it because the roots are already getting a nice drink. They're happy, they're healthy, and the environment, of course, is probably giving it dew and rain and this and that and the other thing. But when you do have to water, you have these 2 liter containers that are going down into the ground, and when you come along to water, all you need to do is fill up that 2 liter container. That's it. That's all. That's it. You don't need anything more than
The
that.
water, yeah, because the water goes into that fabric and
Yep.
slowly waters.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a totally good idea too.
And it's
Mhm.
super cheap, and it's easy for anybody to do. Like everybody drinks milk, everybody drinks juice, everybody drinks pop. You save
I
all
agree.
those containers and then you just drill some holes in the bottom of them and a little bit up on the container, and then you just, put some fabric through there and you knot it on one side so that
Mhm.
it's not going to slip through. And it's a super easy technique for anybody to do.
Well, thank you for answering that question.
Yeah.
There you go, Duncan
Yeah.
Family Farm.
Love
And
it.
Brandon, is that Brandon BG 1968 100? Amy?
Yes.
Okay.
That's BG. Yeah.
So not
Basically said fascinating. Thanks for the knowledge. Yes. I love
Yeah.
learning. I love
Mhm.
listening to Krista because that's, I just love learning.
There
I
is
love learning.
there is a little bit of a tidbit of information that I would like to add to that. Like once you sort of develop a little bit of as a gardener, then you also realize that there are things that you can add into that 2-liter jug or whatever that's down into the ground, and you can add so you can add scraps of food from your house, right?
Okay.
So let's say there's lettuce pieces that you don't, whatever you don't use, composting that you would throw into your compost bin. Instead of throwing it into your compost bin during the growing season, you can actually take a little bit of that compost and you can put it down into especially if you have the filter in that jug, and you can just filter that compost down into the water, and it's going to feed into those root systems as well. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, y'all,
So, yeah.
I have went over my hour, and that's okay. That is okay. BG says I clean out my wine bottles and put them upside down in the raised beds to trickle water.
Perfect.
It actually works. That's awesome. See, I was thinking that there's like this little system where it's a little bubble and it has that long pipe, and you stick it down in the plants after filling it with water, and it just trickles out slowly. But I mean, those are so small. You got to keep filling those up. So yeah. But y'all, thank y'all for coming up. Krista, you're always welcome to come back up.
Thank you.
I'm live Tuesdays, 8:00 Central Standard Time, till it lasts 3 hours sometimes. So we just get on panel like this and we talk and just get to know one another, and people who don't know your channel get to know your channel. And so I hope people go and check out Krista at Almost a Green Acre. And of course, we always love having Miss Janae up on panel. So yeah, you're, like I said, you're more than welcome to come up on my panel and just talk about gardening and stuff, and how your day went and stuff. You're always welcome.
Amy. That's awesome.
You're welcome. So I'm gonna flip off. And
thank you, ladies. Thank you, ladies.
Yes.
Have a great night, y'all.
Have a great
everybody.
night. Remember at 7:00 Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, it's Pretty and Pooch. And then 8:00, go over and give some love to our brother Jeff at Rule 2IC. He is having a giveaway tonight. And then go give some love to Mike and Terry at MT Homestead. And then after that, it is Brian at the Vineyard Farmhouse at 9:00 Central Standard Time. And then at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, it's Peter at Old Man King Homestead. And then that's the lineup for Wednesdays. So yeah, Rural celebration tonight. That's right.
Thanks, Amy. And if you need their channels, we've already dropped the links. You can scroll up and grab their links and come on over and see them.
Yep. Hi, Derek. I'm gonna have to go watch your live. He goes live at 5:00 Central Standard Time on YouTube as well. So if you're not on our live on Wednesdays, go give Derek some love on his channel. And
Oh, Derek came in.
25. I went 25 minutes over. So yeah, thanks everyone. Sorry I missed any comments. No, you're good. You're good, Krista. So
give our greetings to Chris, Amy, okay, and all the kids.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hi, Derek. All right, y'all. I love you guys. Thank y'all for hanging out with me and showing some love. And I will, if you're watching replay, hit #replay in the chat. So I'll see y'all next week. Bye. Bye, Miss Janae.